only 1 in 10 survived. In 1403, the Anatolian plateau became a counting ground for the dead. The same wind that once carried the scent of harvest instead bore the dust of 900,000 souls, erased by drought. Picture a number so vast it could empty every modern city in Greece, then fill them again with silence. This is the mathematics of extinction, a silent, sun-bleached horror. 2 years before the Great Silence, Anatolia was a land of ordinary sounds. In the villages scattered across its nearly 756,000 square kilometers, life followed the ancient rhythm of the sky. Farmers watched the clouds, not with dread, but with calculation. Water was a promise kept by the seasons, a gift stored in communal wells and the deep, cool veins of the earth. Children played in courtyards where pomegranate trees offered shade, and the bustling markets of towns were full of the noise of commerce and community. The number of the dead was still 0. An Ottoman administrator, traveling between settlements to record households for the tax register, would have noted productive fields, healthy flocks, and the steady hum of life. The empire was consolidating, and the land seemed dependable, a foundation for a growing realm. The idea that this fertile complexity could be reduced to a single, terrible fraction was unimaginable. It was a world before the subtraction began. The disaster announced itself not with a roar, but with an absence. The winter rains were light, a cause for concern, not yet panic. The spring clouds passed over like timid ghosts, leaving the soil parched. The initial variable was simple: no water. The equation of survival began to invert. First, the green wheat stalks faltered, turning a brittle, hollow gold before withering to dust. A family's annual bread gone. Then, the village's shared vegetable plots shrank. The first number recorded was not of deaths, but of missing sacks of grain. A deficit. Then, the livestock. The sheep and goats that were a family's walking treasury grew thin. Their ribs became a common geometry. Their deaths moved the crisis from a shortage of food to a collapse of wealth. The snowball of disaster began to roll, gathering mass. The true escalation was thirst. The communal wells sank lower, day by day, until the buckets scraped mud. A day's journey to a distant spring became a necessity for survival. The strongest went to fetch water, returning with less each time. The calculation became brutal. The water needed for a child versus the water needed for an elder. The mathematics of triage, written not on paper, but in cracked clay cups and fading hope. The snowball was now an avalanche. As the heat intensified, disease, the faithful companion of famine, began its own count. Weak bodies could not resist. What began as a missing harvest in one village became a missing village from the registry. The number grew from households to hamlets to entire regions falling silent. The land consumed its own people. One person died every 5 minutes for 2 years. That is how you reach 900,000. His name was forgotten by the tax ledgers, but let us call him Mehmet. He was a potter from a village near Konya. His story is one of the 900,000. Before the drought, his hands shaped cool, damp clay into vessels meant to hold water and grain. He had a wife, Ake, who wove carpets of brilliant red, and 2 sons whose laughter filled his workshop. When the rains failed, his pots sat unsold, then became relics of a time when people had something to store. First, they sold the carpets, then the tools of his trade. He watched his sons' eyes grow large in their thinning faces. When the well dried, Ake would walk with him to the distant creek, a journey that grew longer as the creek itself retreated. One day, she did not rise for the journey. He buried her under a bone-white sky, using his own hands, the potter's hands, to dig the hard earth. He carried his last son towards a rumor of a working well in a town to the north. The boy was light as kindling in his arms. He did not make it to the town. Mehmet, the creator of vessels meant to hold life, was left with nothing to hold at all. His end was not recorded in a grand tally of 1. It was a private, silent subtraction. He was the human equation behind the statistic, a family of 4 reduced to 0. The Anatolia of 1404 was a map of ghosts. Where there had been 10 households, now there was 1. The empire's meticulous tax registers from the following century would record new names in old villages, a testament to a slow, painful resettlement. The land recovered. People returned. The wheel of seasons turned again. But the echo of that number never faded. It whispers through history as a warning written in dust. Today, we know that by 2050, droughts may affect over 3/4 of the world's population. We have calculated that in just one modern European summer, extreme heat can claim tens of thousands, with climate change responsible for 2 out of every 3 of those deaths. The machinery of disaster is now global. The variables are familiar: a rising temperature, a vanishing resource, a chain reaction of loss. And mathematics remains just as relentless, just as personal. So, when you hear that a drought has displaced thousands or killed hundreds, do you see a crisis report? Or do you see Mehmet, the potter, holding his empty hands to an empty sky? Follow this channel if you want to see history not as data, but as the stories we can still hear in the silence.